It's new tent time here at Kemp Outside, and we're going to take a look at the ALPS Mountaineering Taurus 6. Check it out. Hey guys, I'm Kevin with Kemp Outside, your inside source for all things outside. Today we're going to take a look at the Taurus 6 by ALPS Mountaineering. It's a 6-man tent, came in this box. Let's open her up. Alright guys, so the first thing you'll notice when you take it out of the box is it comes in this really nice storage bag. So let's crack it open and take a look. Alright guys, so I really like this bag. It has a nice carry handle, which makes it easy to carry, but it is a simple stuff sack. So you open it at one end. So we'll untie the factory knot here. And open it up. Okay, so as we pull everything out, the instructions for the tent are sewn into the bag. That's pretty nice. Okay, now to open the main tent body. Just gonna untie these straps. Take a look at what we have. Okay, so we've got some tent stakes and cordage. Oh, and a nice a patch kit. So if you need to patch your tent at all, that's always nice to have. Some decent tent stakes. I'll probably use tent stakes that are bigger than these, but it's nice to have extras on hand. And cordage to guy out your tent. It's like in the roll we have the tent poles. We'll get into those in a few minutes. And then we have the main body of the tent and the rainfly. So let's take a look at the poles. The poles have their own carrying bag, which is nice. We'll open them up. So the first thing I notice is that these tent poles are really thick. Those are really, really thick tent poles. Looks like there's 2 poles for this tent. It's a simple dome tent with a X-cross pole design. So I'm going to lay out a tarp and we're going to start setting her up. Alright guys, so as you can see, we've got the tent up. We haven't put the rainfly on yet. I want to walk around the tent and show you some of the features. This tent is really big. It's a 10 by 10 footprint. So it's bigger than my Eureka Tetragon 5s, which I've always run in the past, which have a 9 by 9 footprint. So it's pretty big inside, and I'm really impressed with the thickness of the fiberglass tent poles. They are much thicker than my 5-man tents. So let's take a look at some of the features. So one of the first things you really notice about this tent is the size of the front doors. So my son Garrett's going to be my assistant today, and he's going to open up the door and just show you how big it is. So easy to get things in and out. Really nice. So this tent has 2 doors, and both doors have really nice big windows with mesh screens, and they operate on 2 zippers. So you can unzip the windows as much as you want, or if you zip them down all the way, you can roll up the panel and store it with those little dog bone type clips. So it's very easy to tuck those away, and so that helps you with a lot of ventilation, a lot of cross breeze, and if you do it on both doors, it helps even more. So one thing I want to mention about this tent that I'm kind of bummed out about is that there is not a whole lot of mesh on the sides of the tent. Yes, there's a large roof top mesh panel on 2 sides, and you have the mesh on the doors, but there's not much mesh towards the bottom of the tent. I really wish, since this tent has a full coverage rainfly, that they had put more mesh towards the bottom of the tent. Okay guys, so as you can see, we now have the full coverage rainfly on the tent. I'm going to do a little walk around and talk about some of the features. So one of the main features of a tent with a full rainfly are the vestibules. So you've got these areas that are outside the body of the tent but inside the rainfly. And so you can store packs or shoes or anything you want inside the vestibule. So that makes a really nice option for storing some stuff if you don't have a lot of room inside the tent or you've got a lot of people inside the tent. The vestibule offers a little more storage space that's protected from rain. 2 doors on this tent means 2 vestibules. So here's a look at the vestibule totally closed up. So in a tent this large, in any kind of wind, you're going to definitely need to guy it out. The tent offers these guy out spots on the rainfly, and the rainfly itself also velcros to the poles in 2 spots. So if you tie down your rainfly properly with the guys and you velcro it to the poles, you should have a pretty sturdy tent in some decent wind. Also, the full coverage rainfly will direct the wind, so you're not going to catch a lot of wind up under a rainfly like you might in a partial rainfly tent. So I think this tent will do pretty well in wind despite its height, which is 6 feet in the center of the tent. I can stand up fully. I'm just under 6 feet tall. So I really like being able to stand up inside a tent if I can. It just makes everything easier. So definitely use these guy out points if you expect any kind of wind while you're camping. So if you're camping in warm weather with a tent with a full coverage rainfly, cross breeze is always going to be an issue. Getting your tent to breathe and ventilate, because the rainfly goes all the way to the ground, so it's going to have a hard time catching air and moving air through the tent. You can combat that a number of ways on this tent. One of the ways to do that is to use these roof vents. So check this out. So they have these velcroed roof vents, so you can velcro it closed, or you can velcro it open, and they have this little like kickstand in there that forces the roof vent open. So if you need ventilation, like if you're camping in hot weather, you definitely are going to want to use those roof vents. And like most dome tents, you can guy out the bottom of the rainfly on the sides to get more ventilation up under the tent. Pro tip, guys, don't use black cordage when you are guying out your tent. Use high-vis colors like orange or green or yellow so that when you're walking around the tent, you don't trip over your guy line and rip your rainfly. Okay, guys, so now that I'm in the tent, I want to show you some of the features inside the tent. So number 1 are these gear pockets, right? So we've got 1 on each side. So if you've got phones, keys, wallets, whatever, instead of having them just laying on the tent floor, you can put them in those little gear pockets and keep them up and out of the way so they don't get stepped on or broken or anything like that. I really like those features in these tents, and admittedly most dome tents have them, so it's not a unique feature to this tent by any means. So another feature of this tent is the gear loft. It's just a little piece of mesh that clips in, and you can hang anything up here. You can put headlamps or little LED lanterns or wallet, keys, iPad, anything you want you can hang up here. It's pretty strong. It doesn't hang down too bad, and I can still stand underneath it, which is nice, at least when there's nothing in it. If it's sagging down, I might hit my head a little bit, but it is up and out of the way. Another thing I want to mention on this tent is that it is a bathtub floor, so the sides of the floor come up, which definitely helps with any type of water leakage, and the seams are all taped. So this tent should be waterproof right out of the box. Okay guys, so now that I've set it up and I've walked through it and taken a look at it, there are some things I really like about this tent, and there are things I wish ALPS Mountaineering did differently. So, number 1, I really like the full coverage rainfly. I think that a full coverage rainfly is a lot better than a partial coverage rainfly when you're camping in bad weather. I really like, though, a partial rainfly for ease of getting in and out of the tent. So one of the things that's kind of a bummer on this tent is that when you zip the vestibule down, when it zips all the way down to the bottom, it's hard to reach from inside the tent. So you're going to want to put some kind of mat or something in front of the door so that you're not kind of laying out into mud to reach down to that zipper. The other thing that I really wish that ALPS Mountaineering did was to put a water flap on the door zipper. So if you look at the ALPS Mountaineering Merrimack series, the Merrimack series is a very similar tent to this tent, almost exactly identical, except it has a partial covered rainfly. And with a partial covered rainfly, they put a little flap over the bottom of the zipper to protect from water intrusion during rain. I could see a lot of benefit to leaving the vestibule open like this, but if you left it open like this and a sudden rainstorm happened, you would get water intrusion through the zipper. So I really wish they had put a rain flap on the door zippers, just like they do on the Merrimacks. Another thing that I think is a good idea but is not well executed are the rainfly vents. So if you get any rain that comes in sideways or with some wind gusts, you are not going to be able to leave those vents open. There's not enough overlap in material to block water coming in from rain if you get any sideways rain. So that's going to really suck, because if it's going to rain, you have to come out of the tent to close them. They're also hard to reach when you have the rainfly flied out at the bottom. So they're hard to reach. So you might want to use like a stick or something, or a poker, to close those quickly when it rains, because like I said, they're hard to reach. But I do like it in warm weather, or if you just want some air movement. If it's not raining, you shouldn't have a problem with the roof vents. Another thing I wish they would have done, so on the Merrimack series with the partial rainfly, they have a ridge pole in the rainfly that kind of elevates the rainfly at the doors. And so that would be really nice. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tent for when my mom comes camping with us. And so my mom is over, I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but she's over 70 years old, and she loves to tent camp. But as she gets older, mobility is going to be more and more and more of an issue. So any tent that's easy for her to get in and out of is really, really important. So I think she's going to be able to get in this tent just fine. The doors are pretty big. But I would love to have seen a ridgepole design with the full coverage fly. I think that would have made this tent just that much better. So there's one other thing I really wish ALPS Mountaineering did. So I recently went whitewater rafting in Idaho. So if you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'm going to put a link right up here. You can see that. But when we camped on the riverbanks in Idaho, we stayed in some ALPS Mountaineering outfitter version of the Merrimack 4. So the outfitter versions of ALPS Mountaineering's tents do a couple of things I really like. Number one, they put in a much thicker floor than their standard tents. The other thing they do is they put in oversized zippers. So they put in number 10 size zippers instead of number 8 size zippers. I really like those two features, and ALPS Mountaineering makes an outfitter version for most of their Taurus model tents. They do not make an outfitter version for the Taurus 6. If they had, I would have bought it hands down. I love the idea of the thicker floor. I love the idea of the bigger zippers. I would have bought that outfitter version hands down if they had it available. So I'm really bummed that ALPS Mountaineering does not make an outfitter version of the Taurus 6. They do make outfitter versions of the smaller models. The other thing I wish ALPS Mountaineering had done is I wish they had provided aluminum poles instead of fiberglass poles. I'm really impressed with the size of these fiberglass poles, but I just wish they were aluminum instead of fiberglass. I just trust aluminum that much better. That being said, guys, I've camped with fiberglass tent poles for years and years and years and years. And if you follow my channel at all, you may see some videos that I made a long time ago on how to splint a tent pole if you break it while camping, and then how to repair a fiberglass tent pole. So check out those videos if you need any advice on how to repair fiberglass tent poles. So let's talk about specs. So this tent has a great waterproof rating, and I'm going to put the waterproof rating here on the screen so you can see the waterproof rating. It also is some pretty thick polyester material, so that's nice. The rainfly, the tent body, and the floor are all the same thickness of material. So like I said, I wish that it was an outfitter version where it had a thicker floor, but I think this material is plenty thick. It should last a long time. I highly recommend that you put a tarp or some kind of floor saver underneath your tent, especially if you're camping on gravel or sharp rocks, or anything like that, or anywhere where there's roots. And I definitely recommend that you either put something down inside the tent, I use Harbor Freight moving blankets, guys. They're really cheap and they're really easy to get. You just throw a Harbor Freight moving blanket down, and that way if you're camping with tent cots or anything that has feet, or you put a camp chair in there, that's not marring up the floor. So I recommend you protect the floor of the tent, because again, it's not that outfitter thickness. But I am pretty pleased with the material overall and the waterproofness ratings. I think this tent is going to last us a long time. So guys, if you're looking for a dome tent, I highly recommend ALPS Mountaineering. I really, really like them. And if you are looking for a tent with a full coverage rainfly, I definitely recommend the Taurus series. If you want a tent that is smaller than the Taurus 6, I recommend the Outfitter version. But if you want to save a little bit of money, I think their regular version of the Taurus series tent is still a great tent. Guys, I'm going to put some links down in the description below where you can find these. They're all affiliate links. ALPS Mountaineering is available at Bass Pro Shops, Cabela's, Moose Jaw, Amazon. It's available all kinds of places. I'm going to put links down below where you can pick up one of these tents at the retailer of your choice. They're all affiliate links, guys, so I do get a little commission on the sale if you use those links. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does help me produce more videos for Kemp Outside. So guys, Kemp Outside exists to help moms and dads take their kids camping, hiking, fishing, learn about nature, and develop a conservation ethic. We want to help you get you and your kids outside. So if you have any questions about tent camping, or this tent in particular, or ALPS Mountaineering, or dome tents, drop something in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Or you can connect with us at our website at www.kempoutside.com, or on our other social media at Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Guys, if you love what I'm doing and you want to support us, you can always buy us a coffee using the Buy Me a Coffee app or website, where you can just give us a little donation to help us continue to produce awesome videos. I'll put a link down below for that as well. Guys, if you want free gear, also watch this video where I go over how to win free gear from Kemp Outside. I do monthly drawings where I give away camping gear, hiking gear, fishing gear, all kinds of stuff. So if you want free gear from Kemp Outside, watch that video to learn how you do it. So guys, thanks for watching Kemp Outside. We release new videos all the time on YouTube at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Right now, as I shoot this video, we've got videos coming out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got campground and campsite reviews, gear reviews, how-to videos, tips and tricks, camping, hiking, and fishing videos, and a whole lot more. So we are producing a ton of content here at Kemp Outside. So we would love for you to subscribe, hit that little bell icon that notifies you when we release new videos, and hit that like button on this video. Guys, if you have the Taurus 6, I'd love to hear what you think. Drop something in the comments below. Thanks for watching Kemp Outside. We'll see you next time.